Hi, this tutorial is brought to you by pm-prep35.com. We are a free PMP training website. Do visit pm-prep35.com for free mock exams, chapter and tests and tutorials. In this session, I am going to cover validate scope process. This is part of project scope management knowledge area, and it is part of monitoring and controlling process group. Specifically within the monitoring and controlling process group, it falls in monitoring process, understandably, basically because it deals with validation of scope. So when you say validation, understandably, you're talking about ensuring that all the requirements have been covered, whatever requirements has been documented, whatever scope that has been baseline, they have been covered as part of the deliverable. So the validate scope process is ideally done either as part of the final product acceptance, or it is done as part of each of the milestone wherein the deliverable of that particular milestone is reviewed. So this increases the chance of the final deliverable completion or the acceptance. The control quality process, which also is another monitoring and control process, it deals with checking the correctness of the deliverable, but then the validate scope process, it is done normally with the customer or the sponsor to bring formal acceptance to the completion of the deliverable. So completion of the deliverable is most important here. It is not about closure, but it's about completion of the deliverable. So the deliverable might be the interim deliverable, which is part of each of the phases, or it can be the final product. So it can be done in a couple of contexts in terms of checking the completion of deliverables, which may be part of phases, or it can be the final product. After validate scope process is complete, the close project or phase process gets triggered. That's where the formal closure of the project or phase is done. Here it is about ensuring the completion of the deliverables in terms of ensuring that the functionality has been verified and it has been formally accepted. The deliverables are formally accepted, bringing in chances of project success. So that's where the validate scope is slightly different from control quality as well as close project or phase. So close project or phase is more concerned about formalizing the closure process as such, wherein you're documenting lessons learned, archiving some of the deliverables, documenting lessons learned, you are releasing resources, you are making payments to different contractors. But here in the validate scope process, you are more concerned about checking the deliverables are fine, and you're accepting, the customer is accepting, and there is no recheck. So you're going closer to final product acceptance because it can be done in each of the intermediate project phases. So that's about validate scope process. So validate scope process gets input from control quality process in the form of verified deliverables, wherein it has been verified for correctness, and here it is accepted, which is an output of this accepted deliverables. So verified and accepted. Verified, when you say verified or validated, it's more closer to you are checking for correctness. So that's where the verified deliverables is an input for this particular process. So apart from this, you have the requirement documentation. The requirement documentation tells what are the requirements that were collected initially. So mostly the requirement documentation is signed off by the client, although you have the project scope statement, which is sort of a derived form of the requirement documentation. but your requirement documentation is normally signed off by the client, although it might have requirements that might not be part of this particular project, or it might be taken as part of subsequent project or phases, whatever. But then the requirement documentation is the reference point against which the deliverable completion is cross-checked. So that's why the requirement documentation is one of the main inputs. The requirement traceability matrix increases the chance of acceptance in terms of showing this was the requirement and this is how it has been handled across different phases. It gives a confidence that no requirement has been left off as part of completing the product or the deliverable of this particular project. So that's where requirement documentation, requirement traceability matrix are important inputs. You can also look at this in a different way, wherein the requirement documentation most of the times has it has the scope of the project, although there's a scope statement which is lot more has the inclusions and also has the exclusions. You can think of the requirement documentation as the place where you can always go and check, or a guidance as a guidance for checking the project or the product requirements. So that's why requirement documentation is an important input for this particular process. Apart from this, you have the PM plan or the project management plan, because this is one of the vital processes that happens and is driven towards completion of deliverables. The project management plan, which has linked to all the baselines, is a vital input. So when you look at, so you're in the process of completing things, so that's where you want to see whether things have been done as per plan, as per baselines. So you have the scope baseline also here. So scope statement also you can look up, and you can be sure that whatever within the boundaries has been covered as part of this particular process. So the scope baseline, which is part of project management plan. Then you have requirement documentation, requirement traceability matrix. These are main inputs. Then you get the work performance data from the execution team in terms of what has been done, what is their current status of work, and things like that. So work performance data comes from the execution, project execution, as part of project execution or the executing process group. So you use that to get information about what has been done to date, because sometimes validate scope is also linked with coming up with performance information. That is also one of the important criteria of validate scope. You're not only dealing with completion of deliverables, but at the same point you're trying to collect more information to support your decision in terms of saying that this is completed. So that's where work performance data is a important input to collect extra information in terms of how things have been assured that this has been completed as per requirements. So work performance data is an input to most of the monitoring and controlling process. So you also have, as part of this particular process, you also do inspections, or understandably, wherein the inspection might be in terms of audit or walkthrough, wherein you can cross check. You're obviously cross checking whether functionality has been done as per requirement. So inspection is one of the important techniques. Then group decision making is done, because there are a lot of stakeholders involved, and their common understanding is done using group decision making, because one of the when it comes to the end and you're trying to do product acceptance or formalizing your product completion, so obviously there's a lot of interaction involved with different stakeholders. So group decision making is one of the important techniques. So the output of this particular process is accepted deliverables. Then you have work performance information, which goes into your work performance report when you consolidate things for reporting. You also have sometimes change request raising. If, for example, in when the customer is verifying, he might find out something which is a defect, or which has been left out, and that comes out as a change request which goes through the integrated change control process. So that's one more important output. So let's just quickly walk through some of the important points and also the inputs, tools and techniques. Validate scope process is mainly concerned with formal acceptance of the deliverables. This is not about the project closure. The project closure is a separate aspect. It is about acceptance. It's just about signing off, telling that I accept that this meets the criteria. It doesn't mean the project is closed. So it brings you closer to closure, project closure, or the phase closure. While control quality process is concerned with the correctness of the deliverables and it is done internally to build confidence, the validate scope process is concerned with customer sign off. So this brings you close to the closure, project closure or the phase closure process. Before that, you are getting some sort of assurance that the client is happy with the functionality or the deliverables, because it's not the end product that you are concerned about acceptance most of the time. Sometimes you might have assured the client that you will deliver this on so and so date, you will finish this phase so and so date. So you will have to show on that milestone you will have to prove that you have covered that particular deliverable. So that's where your formal acceptance for each phase, as part of submitting your documents or the deliverables, you want a formal acceptance. So that's where this validate scope process comes into picture. So when you say scope, it's the project scope in this context that we are talking about. Control quality process is performed before validate scope process in order to build documentation supporting the process for customer acceptance. So that's the final goal, but then you're building your case in terms of doing the validate scope process at the end of each phase. So the inputs for this process or project management plan, since customer acceptance is one of the last steps in the project phase or life cycle, it is necessary to look if all constraints have been met, and also to provide proper data in terms of different baselines as proof to ensure all requirements are met and handled. So scope baseline is one of the important aspects of project management plan which is covered. So that's why it's an important input. Requirements documentation is another input, since this is the document from which the scope is defined, but then this is the document created after discussions with the customers initially. This document is important to get sign off. Most of the time the requirement documentation is thought of a documentation where the customer has already signed. From that you build your scope statement, which is more of an internal document. So the requirement documentation is the first document that you talk with the client and the stakeholders, and you build it, and then you prioritize and leave out some of the requirements based on your time and cost, and that's what becomes your scope statement. But the requirement documentation is always held upon, so that's where it's used for gaining acceptance. Requirement traceability matrix, how all the requirements are handled through different phases of the project life cycle, a confidence building measure for sign off, also a checklist for the project team before sign off. So that's where you can show that all the requirements have been handled through all the phases that have been done so far. Work performance data, an output from the executing process that acts as a proof to show the health of the project and the number of cycles of validation done. So work performance data comes from the execution team or as part of executing process. Verified deliverables is another input. Output, this is an output of control quality process, ensuring that the deliverable meets the required quality objective in terms of correctness. So it's already checked for correctness, normally done by a QC department, or at the end it can be a set of reports that the customer wants to have a look, and will do a random check to be sure that things are done as per a plan. So verified deliverables, which is again an output of control quality process, becomes an input here to do formal acceptance. Inspection is a technique. It might be in the form of audit or walkthrough or review. Group decision making is very useful since there are a group of stakeholders involved, different teams getting involved. So that's where sometimes there might be some sort of decision making that would be in process in terms of accepting that this is this product or deliverable is acceptable. So that's where group decision making comes into picture. So the outputs are accepted deliverables. The customer acceptance is documented and signed off to become input for closed project or process. So after this, the project is ready for closure, or the phase is ready for closure. So that's where the accepted deliverables or this process becomes an input to closed project or phase process. Work performance information is another output. The final status of the work accepted is documented and would be stored as organization process assets. So this is nothing but your indexes which become an input to your work performance report. So next output is change requests. As part of scope validation, there might be some new requirements are identified by the customer in order to be implemented as part of product rollout. These might take the form of change request. So this can be in the form of any corrective action, preventive action, or a defect repair. So those things also become part of change requests. They are not directly implemented, but they go through the change control board. So that's where change requests are vital. Project documents updates. So obviously there's a lot of action happening here. There's a lot of chance of iterations happening. So because there's a lot of group decision making, a lot of people getting involved, there might be other documents which might get updated. There might be the risk register which might get updated. So as part of validating certain things, one stakeholder might take precedence, or he might have a lot of power in this particular discussion or decision making process. So you will have to account that in the stakeholder register. So these becomes updates in the form of project documents updates for this particular process. So that's the output. So in a gist, the validate scope process is usually done with the customer or sponsor to check it's a process to do a formal acceptance of the deliverables that are already completed. The deliverables are completed, they are verified by the executing team or the somebody who has created it, but then you are ensuring the customer is formally accepting that the deliverable meets their requirements. So there's a formal sign off involved. Obviously the correctness is checked in control quality process, and those inputs become useful for this particular process. So here it's about gaining formal acceptance about completion. It's not same as closure. The closure comes after this, wherein you are getting a formal sign off in terms of closing that particular phase or project. This is more concerned about ensuring that the deliverable is acceptable and meets the customer's requirements. So that's about this particular process. Do visit pm-prep35.com to access a lot of other tutorials, mock exams and chapter tests. Thank you.